Hello friends, welcome to my channel Go Digit. Today in this video we will learn about how to import or install the test toolkit in the Business Central online version. So as you can see that currently this is the container environment, right? This is my BC container, which you can see from the URL itself, where when you create a container of BC, then you get this option that whether you want to import the test toolkit or not. Test toolkit is nothing but basically it is a combination of the test frameworks and the test libraries apps which helps you to write the test code units and the functions which actually manage to test the application, test the process which you are building in the Business Central. So for example, if I type here test, so you can see here that different types of apps are currently showing up in my container, right? However, if you move it to the Business Central online, then you might not find these apps into this BC, right? Because this test toolkit by default does not come up in the BC online. But if you see this documentation part here, they have mentioned that in order to testing the application, environment testing support are available for Business Central Online and Business Central On-Prem and the container based Business Central development where this testing is allowed. However, in the online, of course, specifically for the production environment, running tests are not allowed, right? But in the sandbox, running the tests are allowed. However, as I mentioned, by default the test toolkit is not installed in the BC online. So how to install this up, or whether it managed to, whether there is a probability, or you can say is there any option available by which we can install all these libraries, all these apps into the online, or there is some limitations around it. So let's see this part. So I have opened up this PowerShell and I have input some of the app IDs into my script. So basically I'll explain you one by one each line. So this tenant variable I have created which holds the tenant ID of my Business Central online, right? So if you are running a BC online, then you will know that based on like whenever you want to register for the BC online, you have to register and Microsoft will give you one tenant ID which is unique to your particular license, right? So that is what you have to mention. So that's what I have mentioned here. Then the BC auth context variable I have created, and I'm using this command called new-BC auth context. Okay, so what basically it does is that it helps us to authenticate, or you can say the login process of the BC online via code. So this basically helps us in doing that, where by default when this command gets run, so it gives us an option to log in through particular device or through a particular client ID or client secret. If you don't know about this login process, I have created some videos in the past about this authentication process, so you can watch them to learn about this. In my current script, I am just using this new BC auth context with this parameter called include device login. So basically, and tenant ID I am passing, basically it managed to log in through this my particular device, and I will get one token which helps my script which I write further to log in automatically to my BC online and then run the rest of the commands which I will write in my script, right? So it is nothing but just a login process. That's what I'm using here. And in case this command is not showing up in your BC PowerShell, then you must have to install the BC container helper module first, which, as I said, I have already explained in my previous videos. You can go and watch that. Okay, now after that, in the environment variable, I am typing the name of my environment in which I want to install basically the test toolkit, right? So as I have seen, as we have seen here in this article as well, that in the production there is no way to run the testers. So I will not install this into the production, but I can install in my environment. So this is one of my environment called GoDigit, and it is the company called Cronus FI. So that's what I have mentioned in my PowerShell script about the name of the environment as GoDigit, right? Now after that, as you can see, I have divided two sections like test libraries and test frameworks. So test toolkit is nothing but a combination of test libraries and test frameworks. In order to understand in a simple layman terms, you just understand that these are the apps, right? These are the business central apps which holds some let's say code units, which has some functions which helps the developer to write the test cases for the application which they build for their customers in the BC, right? So these all are the apps which basically somehow you might need while writing your script. So I'm not saying that you need all, maybe you don't need, but in case you need some, then you have to get installed everything. So what I just did it is that I just created the variable of each an app which is currently installed in my BC container. Okay, so from here what I did is that I just opened this up and copy this app ID, right? I just copy this app ID and place it up here because I need the application ID for the apps which I really want to install. Okay, so the point is, as you can see from my comment as well, that when I'm trying to install these two apps, the test libraries apps, which is system application test library and test libraries. So these applications are not getting installed into this, like this system application test library and test library. I'm not able to install in the BC online because these are not available or these are not supported. Their support is limited to the container. Okay, but anyway, so I just give you because just in order to give you the complete information, I mentioned this as a section. But if you see these other apps, library assert, test runner app, any app, AI test toolkit, which is basically a new app developed by the Microsoft in order to help the developers to write the test cases for their Copilot extensions, right? Then the library variable storage and the permission mock, and so I just copy the app IDs here. Nothing. So I'm just telling my PowerShell script that I am interested in installing all these apps. One information is that all these apps are the part of the Microsoft App Source, right? So it's not something that if you just download this app from here, okay, and then maybe you can get the app file from the setup of on-prem, and then you install in the BC using the upload extension method, then you will get the errors. You will not be able to install any application which has the publisher Microsoft, right? So the only authenticated way to install these apps is through the app source. But let's say if I open the app source, so here only one of the app is currently showing up. If I type here test runner, so you will see here that only test runner is showing up, which I can click on it and get installed in my BC Online world. Apart from that, if I search any other app, these are not showing up. These are not at all showing up. So whether you type library assert, any AI test toolkit, they will be not showing up here. However, they are the app source app. So it's just that they are not visible at the UI level, but at the backend they are there and you can install them. So let's learn how to install the BC app source apps from the using the container helper module. However, as our main topic is that we want to install the test toolkit. So there is one command called Import-TestToolkitToBcContainer. Okay, as simple as that. The usage of this command is that it is simply interested in installing the test toolkit apps, the apps which I have mentioned here. Okay, so basically what it takes is the container name it takes. I already have one of the container which I showed you up here. This is my BC container running, which has the container name as BC server. So I can type the name of the container, which is nothing but BC server. Then, although my BC container already is having installed all these test apps, so I don't want to install there, but I'm interested in installing the test toolkit in the BC online. So there are two parameters available here as well, which is BC auth context. Okay, so here I will type the name of the variable BC auth context, which holds the token, right? If I show you, right, so it already have the details of my login process, which I already did before. So this have this authentication available here. I don't want to run this command again. Okay, then it asks me for the environment. So the environment name, which I already passed it up here, the name of my environment is GoDigit, the variable. Okay, and if I want to see what is the value, you can see here the value already have this. So I will just type pass the variable environment here. Okay, then now whether you want to tell the command that you are interested in installing only test libraries, which I have mentioned here, or you are interested in test frameworks, or only in the test runner, or only in the performance toolkit. So all these options are available. Or if you don't add them, like this, if you are adding them, then you will be telling the command that, hey, I'm interested only in particular apps. But if you're not adding them, then simply this command pass the information to the system that you want to install the test toolkit not in the BC container, but actually in the BC online, right? So it is installing test apps to BC online, not BC container, right? I understand the fact that okay, I just let me that if I am not interested in installing this test toolkit apps into my BC container, then why I am passing this container name parameter here? It's just that this is the you can say that it's a mandatory parameter for this command, so you cannot skip that, and that is one of the limitation of this command at the moment, that you must hold some container in order to run this up. If you don't have, then this command will give you the error. However, apart from this, as soon as you mention the other parameters, this does not hold any relevance. Okay, so now if I want to run this, so let's run this. So now it will start installing all the apps which I have mentioned here in the form of app IDs, and this is the one of the single command only through which you will be able to install all the test apps, and you don't need to write these or get the app IDs of the apps. Okay, so now it is running, and you can see here that I'm getting the message skipping app permissions mock as it is already installed, skipping app test runner as it is already installed, any it is already installed, like that stuff, because these apps are already a part of my Business Central online, which I will show you up. Okay, so now you see this one of the app called 985, which is nothing but the system app test library. So as soon as when it starts installing this app, I get this error, because as I mentioned here that these two libraries or these two apps currently are not available in the BC online, but rest of the apps are available. So if your test app is limited with the usage of these apps, then you can very well use the Business Central online, and you can install them by just running this command. Right now, as you can see from here, that when it finds one of the app, which is in my case, if you can see from this app ID, okay, which is which is this, and this app ID is nothing but it's a system application test library. So when it is installing, it is using this command called Install-BcAppFromAppSource, right? So let's understand this command as well, and that is why I write down all these app IDs. Okay, so in case you don't want to use this command, or maybe for your some other use case you want to install some of the apps from the app source, then you need first of all the app IDs of those apps which you want to install. After you get this, then let's say in my case all these applications I need. So I will what I will do here is that I will create one array, okay, in which I will add all these variables: test runner, any, AI test toolkit, library variable storage, permission mock. Okay, so this is my array which I have created. Now because I want to install all these apps one by one into my business central, so I will write one loop here that for each app ID in app IDs I want to install BC app from app source. So you can see from the name itself that business central app from the app source I want to install. As I mentioned, these all apps are the part of app source. Okay, so in which BC environment I want to install, so it is asking me about the details of that. So all the details are available into this variable called BC auth context. Then environment, then I will pass the environment details, then application ID parameter which is available into this variable, right, one by one. Then whether you need any other thing, then you can use that. However, one parameter, one switch which I want to add is accept is EULA, because it's just accepting the agreement thing. Okay, so now my script is ready, that these are the apps IDs which I want to install, and I just create one array in which I pass all these variables, and then for each application variable I'm running this command. All right, so let's select this complete and let's run this up. So now you can see from here that it starts running and it is checking first of all, and you can see that library assert is already installed, right? In the same fashion, it will check all the apps and it will start showing me the messages. App test runner from this is already installed, any is also installed, right? So it is currently checking each app one by one and giving me the messages accordingly. In case any of the app is not installed, then it will start installing those apps on my Business Central online version. Okay, so okay, so it's all done. So you can see here that all the applications are currently, because they are installed, so I'm not getting any sort of error, or it does not basically installed any application. But let me show you up in case I just want to uninstall one of the application, extension management, and if I type here permission, and let's say I'll uninstall this one, uninstall. Okay, so let's click on yes, uninstall, yes. Okay, it's gone. So now if I'll again run this, so you will see that it will check for the apps which are already installed and give me the message that it is already installed, but for the permission mock it will run the installation process. So you can see here that first app is already installed, second app is already installed, which is test runner. Then any app is already installed. Then I think AI test toolkit, it will check. Yes, AI test toolkit is already installed. Then library variable storage. Yes, it is already installed. But now for the permission mock, let's see the results. Okay, so now you see the message. Installing 408605557, which is in our case, this is the app permission mock. Okay, so it is installing this, operation ID, scheduled, right? So this is how you will see the script running. Okay, and you will see at the runtime only what exactly the script is giving you the output. So it is currently scheduled and then now it is running, which is means that it is fetching the app from the app source, right? From the app source, because these all apps are the part of the app source. They are not available locally somewhere. Okay, so it is fetching the app from the app source and getting it installed into your Business Central Online environment. Okay, so it will not take much time, and that is why I already installed all these apps before starting this video, because I did not want to waste time of all of you in just viewing all this sort of output for each of the app, right? But this process, which it is taking maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, depending on, it will take for each app, right? Which I think, which I felt at that point of time that it is not worth enough to show you the installation process of each app. So that's why I installed all, but now I'm showing you up by uninstalling one of the app, and now you can see that it is currently installing. Okay, so once it finished the installation, I will show you up the output as well from the BC Online, that what type of like whether this app is already installed or not. So basically by the time it get installed, so you can see from here that although I don't need all this stuff, because all this stuff system is doing on its own when I just write or run this particular one command itself, right? It is checking the app is installed or not. Then if the app is not installed, it runs this command, and based on fetching the app IDs, right? So I suggest you to first, in case you are interested only in the installation of the test toolkit, then you must run this command to install all these apps. You don't need to fetch the app IDs manually and create a variable and all this stuff. But in case you want to install any other app source app, so you must know the use case of this command as well and how to use them. Okay, so now this app is installed, and if I will refresh this up, so you will see that all these apps are successfully get installed into my environment, right? So I think that's quite easy. So you can see here that it is showing up installed. So only limitation which I see from this thing is that because I am unable to install these applications called system application test library and test-test library, which is this app and this app. So now I leave it up to your intelligence, that in case you need these apps in your test apps, then the answer at the current moment is that you cannot run your test cases or install your test app into the BC Online, because these apps are not currently supporting in BC Online world. But if your test app does not depend on these two, system application test library and test-test library, then you are good to go with the BC Online world as well, and you can install your test apps there and your customers or your testers can test the apps in the BC Online only. So that's it in the today's video. I hope you like it. If you like it, please hit the like button and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video.